You're on. Kurt, you're live. You're live.
Welcome to Dirty Kurt's Dugout, this Monday edition, which is rather odd. We don't normally do the show on a Monday, but it's a different kind of Monday. It's October. It's an October Monday, which means postseason baseball. The Padres are in the mix. They're going to play the first game of the National League Championship Series tomorrow night here in San Diego at Petco Park against the Philadelphia Phillies, for a chance for both of those teams to go to the 2022 World Series. Hi, everybody. I'm Kurt Bavacqua, and you have to make notes today because we're going to have fun. And with all the stuff that's going on in the media and on social media, on MLB Network, any article that you read, people are going upside down because the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Atlanta Braves are out of it. And I've actually seen people say, do the wild card teams have it too easy? Well, as usual, I want to thank our friends over at Hacienda Casablanca in El Cajon. We were there the other night and had a great time. We really did. The 2-1 victory that the Padres had over the Dodgers. If you remember, and if you look back on the show that the day before that I said the Padres are going to win that game 3-1. 2-1 is pretty close. So I did good on that game. I did good at Bet MGM on that game. And I'm going to have other predictions too, but the first thing that I'm going to tell you today, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to do on Thursday, which is going to be a load of fun. I got to see the comments here because I need comments. Terrence, as usual, hello. Sorry about your Dodgers, but I'm not. And Cynthia is with us also. Hi. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate that. I started with Tony and Cindy at Hacienda. I wanted to thank them for their continued sponsorship of this show, and also our good friends down at Lacima Oil, Tom Drake, Neighborhood Chevron Dealers. The one that I frequent is the one for Daryl Cheney's a former player who played for the Atlanta Braves, and he's asking me for tickets. He's about the 100th person that has asked me for tickets today. Right, Nort? Do you really want tickets for the game tomorrow? Call me on my phone after we get off the air. I have a friend that might be trying to get rid of a couple of tickets, but I definitely don't want to broadcast that because I don't want to be deluged with asks from different people, and I would never have publicized that. So Hacienda Casablanca, the Neighborhood Chevron Dealers, I thank you. And here's what I have to say about all of the people that are calling for, listen to this. They're literally calling for format, the possibility of format changes for the postseason. It's the first year. Are you kidding me or something? Because the Padres played better baseball and beat the Mets and beat the Dodgers. And the Phillies played better baseball and beat the Atlanta Braves. And the Braves sat right in front of the podium on the mics and said, we got beat by a better baseball team for at least that week. Folks, this is the way the game is. And if you don't believe me, how about this? Since the year 2000, That's 22 years ago. The New York Yankees have won more games than any other team in baseball. 2,110 games. You know how many times they've won the World Series since then? Twice. And wasn't even in 2000. Not one team won 100 games in the year 2000. Since then, starting in 2001, 33 teams have won 100 games or more. Only 4 of them have gone on and won the World Series. And people are literally saying, do the wild card teams have it easy? No. They don't have it too easy. I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give you examples of why these 100+ win teams in this day and age of baseball don't win the World Series more often. If you think of this year's Los Angeles Dodgers, what comes to your mind right away? This year's Los Angeles Dodgers. It's certainly not the pitching. You can say Clayton Kershaw, but most of the time people are going to come back with, well, I think of a team that hits home runs. They've got a lot of guys up and down their lineup that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. If you negate that fact, and the Dodgers had 3 home runs in one game against the Padres. They were all solo home runs. They're thinking about redoing the postseason already. Social media is getting out of hand. And you know what? So are some guys on the MLB network. I got it, and in particular, Brian Kenny. He's getting way out of hand. Somebody's got to put a sock in him, for sure. Go ahead, make the video and send it out. I'm going to take you back real quick to 2017 World Series. I know what you're going to say. We're not going to talk about the cheating aspect of the 2017 World Series, Houston Astros versus the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm going to talk about one inning in that series that, in my mind, and if you go back and you watch the video, I think you'll feel the same way. That completely showed who had a better team. And if you're sitting there and you're watching the game and you know it, you're going to go, wow, he was right. Go back to the first inning of Game 7. George Springer was the leadoff man for the Houston Astros and hit a double. Chris Taylor was the leadoff man for the Los Angeles Dodgers and hit a double. That's where the differences are. Let me run you right through it, and I want to make sure I get it right, so I'm going to look at some notes. The second place hitter, Bregman, after Springer's double, hit the ball to the right side of the infield. If you remember, and Cody Bellinger threw it away. Because first basemen in this day and age of baseball not only aren't used to getting balls hit to them from right-handed hitters, but they're not used to throwing the pitchers after the fact, especially when they're not expecting the ball to be hit to them from a right-handed hitter. But Alex Bregman gave himself up to get Springer from second to third. Up comes Jose Altuve. who did the same exact thing that Bregman did. He hit the ball to the right side. As a matter of fact, he hit the ball to Bellinger, and Bellinger almost went home and decided it might not be a good idea. I've already got one error in the inning. I don't want to get two. The Astros scored 2 runs in the first inning on leadoff doubles, and now comes the Dodgers' turn. Like I told you, Taylor hits a double, but then things are totally different for the Los Angeles Dodgers than they were for the Houston Astros. Because after Taylor's double, Corey Seager struck out. He didn't make contact. Left-handed, pull hitter. Didn't attempt the bunt. Didn't attempt to get on out in front of the ball to hit it to the right side of the infield where Taylor could go from second to third. Justin Turner gets hit by a pitch. That puts man on first and second. Cody Bellinger at the plate. This is when he used to hit fourth. He strikes out. So there's 2 strikeouts after the first 4 hitters. Fundamentally and entirely a different situation than what the Houston Astros had just done. Then Puig gets hit by a pitch. You remember him. Yasiel Puig used to play for the Dodgers. He gets hit by a pitch, and it loads the bases before Jock Peterson hits a weak ground ball, trying to jack it out of right field to hit a grand slam and be the hero in the first inning. Didn't work out. That one inning won the World Series for the Houston Astros because the Los Angeles Dodgers did not recoup from that inning. Houston came back and scored another run in the second inning, not on basic fundamentals, just scored a run. But basic fundamentals are what won the game, just like Doug said in his comment. And the game was over after the second inning. After the third run was scored, it was over. So the Los Angeles Dodgers are playing the San Diego Padres the other night, as we all know now, and I'm sure most of you saw it. 3-0 through 6 innings. In the 7th inning, the Padres come up and score 5 runs. And it wasn't 2 or 3 bombs. It was fundamentally sound baseball. And let me tell you how that occurred. And I'm not going to go hitter by hitter, but I'm just going to tell you the main points of the inning. And one of the big plays, and it seemed to be overlooked, was a ball that Austin Nola hit to the right side of the infield. That surprised Freddie Freeman. But it was just out of his reach. He couldn't come up with it. He drives in a run and gets on base with a base hit. And then I want to show you a couple of swings by Jake Cronenworth. One earlier in the game, which is this one. You see his hips and his front shoulder, how wide open they are? And you notice that he's 0 for 2 because that's the way he had been swinging up until the 7th inning, the entire game. And now let me show you the difference. This is off right-handed hitter. Now, look at the difference between the pitch that Vesia threw him, which was a breaking ball, a 2-2 count between that swing and this swing where he hit a line drive to center field. That's fundamentally sound baseball. That's using your head. And everybody's going to say, what are you talking about? Well, Jake Cronenworth is not trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark on this swing like he was on the prior swing or prior swings that he took during the course of that game. And I'm not picking on Jake here. This swing right here won the game for the San Diego Padres. It drove in 2 runs and gave the Padres a 5-3 lead. It was a huge hit, probably one of the biggest hits in the history of the San Diego Padre Ball Club. So by any means, I'm not berating Jake Cronenworth for the way he was swinging the bat. What I'm trying to do is show you why these 100+ win teams, where mostly they're full of guys that hit the ball and try to hit the ball and will continue to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. And it doesn't work, especially in a short series. I tell you what, you give me 9 players that are fundamentally sound, and I got a couple of guys in the lineup that maybe can hit 15 to 25 home runs. You give me a team that's got 25, 30 home run guys on it that are hitting 220. I'm going to beat them all day long with my 9 guys, because they're going to do the little things that it takes to win ball games, like the Padres did the other night and like the Houston Astros did in 2017. And you're right, Doug. The 2015 Royals were the same way. You know, naturally, Salvi Perez on that team hit some home runs and some big home runs, but they had guys that move runners over. And you go back to the San Francisco Giants in 2010, 2012, and 2014, when Bruce Bochy was the manager there. They didn't have 2, 3, 4 guys in the lineup that hit 25 to 35 home runs. These guys played a little small ball. And if you read Moneyball and you see Billy Beane's quotes in Moneyball, that my job is to get the teams to the playoffs, and from that time on, it's a crapshoot because my stuff doesn't work in the playoffs. What does that tell you? My stuff doesn't work in the playoffs, but yet he uses it for 162 leading up to then. And you see teams that have never bunted during the course of the season, never tried to hit and run, try to do that when they get to the playoffs. These are why these teams are losing. I wouldn't be surprised to see the New York Yankees lose tonight. As a matter of fact, I hope they do. That's another Hunroon season down the tubes. And you got a scrappy Cleveland Guardians team that won 89 games that are going to advance, and all hell's going to break loose if that happens. Because I guarantee you the networks wanted to see the Yankees and the Dodgers play. That's not the way it's going to be. That's not the way it's going to be. Darryl Cheney played for the Cincinnati, the Big Red Machine. Went on and played for the Atlanta Braves for a number of years. He just wrote something right down in the comments. If he couldn't put a bunt down, he'd never have stayed for 11 years. That's the way it was back in the day when you had to do little things to win games. And there were certain guys, I mean, Dave Concepcion was the same way. You can't rely on a guy to go up and hit the ball out of the ballpark, especially when you get into a playoff atmosphere and you've got good pitching. So, Gary, I agree with launch angle is killing baseball. I mean, there was just a game the other day. The Houston Astros played the Seattle Mariners for 18 innings, and there was 1 run scored. They were actually completely out of players when that game ended. because of every single guy was trying to be would I have liked to have been the hero in that game? Would I go up to the plate trying to hit a ball out of the ballpark? Absolutely. But only in certain situations. Not on every single pitch. Guys get down in the count 0-2 and 1-2, and they're still swinging the same way that they did when it was 2-0 and 3-1. You can't do that. You can't do that. The guys that get lucky every once in a while are going to get a hanging breaking ball. That's another thing. If you watch a lot of these home runs that you see hit are being hit off of breaking balls. I believe that's why the San Diego Padres beat the Los Angeles Dodgers, because they threw them a lot more fastballs than other teams do. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, a lot of the times, sit on breaking balls. So, do me a favor. On the YouTube channel, Dirty Kurt's Dugout, please go subscribe, ring the little bell, and comment. Please. Comment in the comment sections. It'll give us the opportunity to bring you more good stuff like this. I'm going to start breaking these videos up and putting out stuff on social media to draw more people. I appreciate everybody's support. Appreciate everybody for watching today. Let me tell you what we're going to do, and you got to pass this among your friends. And I'm going to do, as a matter of fact, I'm going to get off this show and I'm going to put a couple of short videos up on social media telling you about the Thursday show, because I am going to make believe that all of you and myself are on the same team. And we've been there the whole year. Daryl's going to appreciate this. We are going to do a shares meeting. We're going to have a shares meeting. And if you don't know what a shares meeting is, it is a meeting that teams that are vying for postseason have every year, somewhere in the first week of September timeframe. And decide on who's going to get shares. And when I say shares, if you keep an eye out this year, when the World Series is over, you will be able to look up or see in your local paper. I know a lot of people don't read papers anymore, but it'll still be online. You'll be able to see the winners and the losers share of the World Series. And it's going to be a big number. I'm guessing in the $400,000 to $450,000 range for the winners. And I'm talking each player. And maybe 300 grand, 350 grand for the losers. So in this meeting that I'm talking about that we're going to have on Thursday, we're going to sit and we're going to make believe, and let's use the San Diego Padres. If anybody has a better idea, I'm up for it, because I just pulled that one out of left field. We'll use the San Diego Padres as an example of how many players that they had during the course of the season that were there the whole year, and being on a disabled list counts. If you're on a DL, that counts as being on the team that part of the year that you're on a DL. Fernando Tatis isn't in on this meeting. There's going to be some guys. Juan Soto is not in on this meeting. You know why? Because the players have to decide what share Juan Soto's going to get. We're going to be those players. It's going to be fun. As a matter of fact, I can't wait to look forward to it. So do your research. The San Diego Padre baseball team, 2022, if you're in their shares meeting that they held first week of September or so, who's going to get full shares? Who's going to get partial shares? And the guys that are going to get the partial shares that you're voting on, what part of a share are they going to get? I'm going to tell you something, folks. And Daryl Cheney, lovingly known as Nort, will tell you these meetings can be cutthroat. They can be big time cutthroat. So until Thursday, whatever team that you're rooting for, I hope they do well. I wish the Guardians and the New York Yankees success tonight. I hate it when it gets to a part of the game where the game can be pinned on one guy. That makes me more nervous than any other part of the game. Men in scoring position of a 0-0 game in the 8th inning and a ball hit to one of the infielders. If that guy makes an error, he's got to live with that. Probably for the rest of his life. We all know the name Bill Buckner. And that was unfair. And it was unfair to him for a long part of his life. Sadly, we lost Billy a few years ago. But he was unfairly treated by the people in Boston for a long, long time. So, Jason, you're right. Love to hear how shares meeting impact team chemistry. They don't have any effect on team chemistry, to be perfectly honest, unless you sit there in a chair and you say, you know, that guy's really a jerk. I didn't know that before. But it really doesn't affect it because a lot of the guys are out of the room. So we're going to have a good time Thursday. So tune in, call your folks, and I don't mean parents, all people that you know, and tell them to join in. We're going to have a good time. And please, like I said, go to our YouTube channel, Dirty Kurt's Dugout, and click that little bell, and then make a comment. And it doesn't have to be a good one. Just make a comment. If you don't like the show, go ahead and tell it. Tell it like it is. I don't have a problem with that. Doug also threw out a name from the past that I've run across, Donnie, so many times in my career, and his life ended in tragedy. But you're actually absolutely right. He never got over giving up a home run in the postseason to, oh boy, I can't think of the name of that player. Henderson, the outfielder for the Oakland A's. He just never overcame everything that comes. Dave Henderson, that's exactly right. I was waiting for somebody to show up with that. I remember that like it was yesterday, but I couldn't think of Dave Henderson's name. Donnie Moore, a couple of years after that, committed suicide in his garage, and it's a terrible, terrible story. But that's why I get nervous when it's that part of the game. I don't want to see a guy have stuff pinned on him. I want to see heroics, but I don't like to see where a guy, especially in error, giving up home runs is part of being a pitcher. And as tough as it is at times, I don't think a pitcher, and maybe this is because I wasn't a pitcher, would not have to hold himself as accountable as like an infielder that fields a ground ball and throws it away. Because trust me, these guys are thinking about it. They're thinking about it. And if you're thinking about don't hit the ball to me, you're in big, big trouble. So all you kids out there want the ball hit at you. Want it hit at you and make the play. You'll be successful more often than you think. So Thursday, 3:15, we're going to have a ball. I can't wait to have a ball with you guys with this shares meeting. And I'm going to come prepared. I hope you do too. Until then, thank you to Tony and Cindy at Hacienda Casablanca and also Tom Drake at Lacima Oil, your neighborhood Chevron store. And thank you for producer Joe. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. And I will see you on Thursday. And I've got my fingers crossed the next couple of nights. It's going to be an exciting time here in San Diego. And I'm looking forward to seeing this Yankee Guardian game here in the next hour or so. So until Thursday, goodbye, everybody. It's Kurt Bavacqua.